Welcome to the Pregnant Bitches podcast.
I'm Jessie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're just a couple pregnant bitches navigating motherhood together.
Hey guys, welcome back. So last week we talked about pregnancy. We are still pregnant.
So pregnant.
How many weeks are we now?
34.
Wow, we are
we're
really
getting there.
counting down. So like maybe in a week and a half, let's give or take, maybe we'll have some sex this week. Let's talk about my favorite topic, labor and delivery.
This girl's a sicko. She fucking loves this stuff. I swear to God, you would birth my baby if you could.
1000% I would. I just I loved it so much. I loved it.
You loved it.
I loved it. Let's just dive into it.
Oh my God. Okay,
Let's talk about it.
Someone once said to me that birth is like a test you can't study for and you can't prepare for it, which I do agree with, but I also think it's a little bullshit. Like you can know a few things that make it better.
100%.
And I think that there is unpredictability to it for sure. Every birth is different, but there are a few things that you should be knowing or
I think so for sure. And people don't talk about it.
No.
All you see is, oh, cute belly. Okay, when is she delivering?
Pushing so hard.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
no.
not a thing. It's not a thing. Well, maybe if you're not getting an epidural. So you're going to let us know this time. But when you have an epidural, you're not, well, I wasn't oh, in the movies where you're literally I don't know. You're not screaming.
I
maybe.
mean, I kind of was.
Were you screaming a little bit?
Tell us about your first thoughts on labor and delivery.
Okay. When my first thoughts of labor and delivery, which is so funny now talking about how much I'm obsessed with it. And I would have another baby just to labor. I loved it so much. Okay, we'll stop talking about how much I loved it so much. I was petrified. I was so nervous. I was looking up how, what am I going to do? And I will get to it. I didn't have a C-section and I have no idea what it's like to have a C-section just from hearing friends' stories and listening. And that is crazy in itself and a whole other ball game. But to me, before knowing what an actual C-section was, I was like, okay, you go in, it's 45 minutes, you're in and out, everything's planned, it's timed. Obviously, a scheduled C-section. I'm not talking about an emergency C-section. I'm talking about the time you're going in.
You wanted the predictability of it.
Right. And I didn't know when I first found out I was pregnant that I was going to be in high risk, that they were going to monitor me, all this jazz. So I was freaking out. And then came along Jessie and husband Josh. And it was COVID. And I remember him going live. He live streamed your birth. That is unheard of. And I was I remember calling my mom being like, Mom, Josh is live streaming Jessie's birth. You got to watch. She's like, okay. None of us were doing anything. It was COVID. I remember sitting in my bed watching this and it was so nice. It was just, you were laying there, you were in pain.
Just to be clear, he didn't live stream full
No.
frontal.
Just
the experience.
Yes. No, we did not. He did not live stream anything down below. It was kind of before and then after.
Yeah.
Not so much during.
No, he was working.
He was kind of it's me, hi, while you were doing your thing there. But he just made it so relaxing. I'm still just I'm never going to forget
I didn't know that. I didn't know that you actually changed your.
I fully changed. I was he played music and you guys didn't know what you were having and you weren't prepared and everything was just so flawless. You guys washed the clothes the morning of. He was what about this outfit or that outfit? And I was this is incredible. I was Adam, we need music. Everything's going to be fine with music. No one would have ever told me to bring music.
Well, it's
for
true.
Labor.
I had no idea what the room was going to look like. I had no idea. You can watch it, I guess, online, but every hospital is different.
What are you watching online? What we watched in high school,
no,
or
I don't know. Maybe no.
grade 8, where it was a
no.
hairy vagina, and
Ugh,
that's all I remember seeing. And that's traumatizing.
No.
So your video, thanks to your husband, was incredible. It was so nice, and then the party after, and then he was there, and he was so cute, and I was I'm ready.
That was your
I'm
motivation.
ready to go.
But you gave birth, what, 3 weeks after me?
So I gave birth 3 weeks after. I was supposed to give birth, I think, 10 weeks or 11 weeks after you. But we can get into that. I had really high blood pressure, and I called my doctor and I was like, something's wrong. Like, I have really high blood pressure. And he was like, okay, well, you're coming in tomorrow and we're having a baby. And I was really early. It was 35 weeks. So this baby was not ready to come, but obviously I didn't have a choice. So, and then I heard the horror stories about this balloon. Have you heard about the balloon?
No.
Okay. So I heard horror stories. I remember one girlfriend calling and she was like, do not get the balloon.
What is the balloon?
So I was like, well, here we go, where I'm like so pumped for labor and delivery after your video. And then here we go where it's like, do not get the balloon. So
they shove a balloon up you?
So basically I get there and I'm looking at Adam and she's like, okay, here we go. We're putting the balloon in. I was like, no, like I was so excited about this. Here we go. Because I was high risk, they gave me the balloon. And so the balloon is basically, it's opening up your uterus and your cervix and all that jazz, because he was so early, like the baby wasn't ready to come out. So they had to put this balloon up and like, no, it's not expanding like a full balloon. It was probably like this little, but it fucking hurt. So, and let's mention, so the one thing that people do tell us is to get the epidural later on.
Yes, I completely agree with that.
I feel like so many people told us that part.
The reason is that the earlier you get it, the more it delays your labor.
Right.
So if you wait till like 5 centimeters plus, you're going to hopefully miss the worst part of contractions.
Right.
But you're far enough along. If you get it at like 1 or 2, you're fucked.
And here we go, where I'm like, I'm going to be a hero and I'm going to wait. But this balloon is doing it manually for you. It's not your body saying, okay, I'm ready to open up.
Like this.
Where I got to 1 centimeter, they put us into the labor and delivery room. And Adam looks at me and he was like, no, don't be a hero. You're getting an epidural. I like couldn't stand up. I was in so much pain. It was so much faster than like, we'll talk about the second pregnancy where
they come flying out.
Like, but it was so painful. So I got the epidural at 1 centimeter. But for me, and all they tell us is wait it out. Where I've heard like horror stories where A, you could be too late if you don't ask for it in time.
Yes, I've
B,
heard that
there's
too.
One guy in the hospital or girl.
I know.
And
like,
you're
can't
waiting
they get
hours.
Some more people?
And like one of our girlfriends got a fever because she was
that bad.
She waited too late, because that's the only thing, honestly, that people told us was
wait
it out if your choice is to get an epidural.
Don't wait it out.
Yes.
Wait it out.
Yes. But don't be a hero. If you need it, and I tell people, if they ask me my opinion, you walk into that hospital, you feel like a period cramp, like you asked for that fucking epidural.
Well, I was the opposite. I like went in being like, I'm not getting an epidural. I'm doing this naturally. I want to know. I was like, I want to know what it's all about. My mom did it with both me and my brother. She didn't get an epidural. I was like, if she can fucking do it, I can try it too. So I get there. I'm like 3 centimeters. First of all, my water broke.
Right.
Which was like a whole.
Because you worked out the morning of.
Yeah, no, the night before.
Right, the night before. Right, the morning of, the night before.
And we like woke up that morning and I was like, Josh, I think I'm in labor. He's like, oh, I'm hungover. I'm like, get out of bed. We are going to the hospital. So then we had nothing ready. I was 2 weeks early. We had you were 5 weeks early, but I had nothing packed, like nothing washed, like nothing ready to go. So we get ready, go. I'm in triage, which is like miserable during COVID. Ugh. Like you have to wear the mask. They're yelling at you. Mask. Fucking brutal. I'm like, she's like, okay, you're 3 centimeters dilated. I'm like, okay, great. Then I'm like, my doula couldn't come in. I'd hired a doula. Waste of money for that.
Right, because you were only allowed one person.
Yeah, in triage. And then it's like progressively getting worse. And like, this is what contractions, like they first start, I find like there's a real break. Like you have your contraction, really sucks for a minute, but then there's like a legitimate break. Then it starts to pick up, and then it picks up, and then it picks up. I'm puking from the pain right now. And my doula's like, she's far. And I'm telling them, I'm like, I think I'm far along. And they're like, you're a first-time mom, so no, you're not far along. They wouldn't check me. I was like, this is fucked. Then by the grace of God, my doctor walks through the hallways, sees my face, is like, get that girl a room.
Right.
They get me a room. I'm like, get me the epidural. I don't give a shit anymore. Like, fuck this shit.
Give it to me.
Give me the epidural. Like, I literally was like, give me the drugs. And I can't sit still. Like,
no,
I'm in such,
and you have to sit so still.
And looking back, I'm in like what they call transition, which is like 7 to 10 centimeters. Right. And I'm like going, like I'm moving, like I can't do anything. They give me like fentanyl to like calm me down.
Because you cannot move or else
you can't
like.
move. They're piercing your back.
I know. It's crazy.
And then they give me the epidural because they're like, the guy's here, which is like, you take it, you leave it. And then they check me after. And they're like, oh, you're 10 centimeters.
So you could have just done it.
I fucking told you. I knew it. Even though it was a first-time mom, like, it's crazy to me how much you have to trust your body and your instincts. And, like, you have to advocate for yourself.
100%.
They have a recipe, and they follow their recipe. And if you don't, like,
if you don't talk about what you want to do, they're just going to follow it.
Exactly. And, like, now looking back, obviously for second time, you can really advocate, but you also have to like use your partner too, like your husband, your wife,
like tell him in advance what you kind of expect. Obviously you go in, you don't know what you're going to expect. Every labor is different, but you can have some awareness of what's going to happen.
I know. But the best part of my labor is that in the rooms there's nitrous because it's like supposed to help the moms breathe.
I never had that.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, it's like Josh is doing it the whole time.
I don't remember.
He's like,
okay, I never had this. Josh would be doing it.
I'm like literally lying there. Finally, I get the epidural. I'm like,
you were so happy after that epidural.
Oh, thank God. This is like a dream.
Really painful.
It's very painful. But it's actually manageable if you breathe. Like, breathing techniques are fucking huge. Like, you gotta breathe. The second you hold your breath and clench, it's not good.
Painful.
Not good. You gotta like really breathe. There's different like things online. Like, I really like this girl does the Bell method. I don't know if you heard of it. She did a great job. She does like breathing techniques. There's like chiros that do breathing techniques.
Okay,
like,
good to know.
Our friend did that before she just gave birth.
There you go.
So yeah, the doulas help you too. Like,
I feel like I didn't breathe at all.
No, because you had a completely different labor. But if you do need to breathe through contractions,
please.
Who asked you the other day about contractions?
Oh my goodness. Was it contractions or the water breaking? I get the water breaking. One of my girlfriends looks at me and she was like, I was in bed with my husband and I looked over and I was like, I think my water just broke, but that was just hormones. You were just sweating buckets. Like, your water didn't break. You were just sweating buckets. But so funny. Like, so many funny things happen. No one talks about it.
No.
Okay, let's get back to the labor.
Okay, so you have Arlo. You're 35, 30. You have the balloon.
I have the balloon. They take me in. They give me the epidural, and they're right about that it takes hours.
Right.
So yes, I did get the epidural at 1 centimeter and it took hours. I think I got the epidural around 3:30 p.m. August 8th and Arlo was born August 9th around 9:30.
So it's like a
day. It's a day. It's a long time. So, but once the epidural kicked in, I was riding. I think I fell asleep. Adam has photos of me sleeping. And then I wasn't in pain, so I kind of really didn't know what was going on. And then finally, I feel like once I reached like the 10 centimeter mark, I was like, I need more. And I remember pressing that button and pressing it and pressing it.
I didn't get that button.
I got the button. I kept pressing it, and like it's time to like you just like look insane pressing that button. Like they're not
like a drug addict.
Like literally like dun, 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 dun. And then finally they came and they're like, "You're 10 centimeters. Are you ready to do this?" I'm like, "Well, I don't really have a choice. Like we got to take this thing out. So let's go." It was a lot of fun. I pushed for an hour, which I also like, did anyone tell you how long you would push for? Like, I didn't know anything. I really didn't.
No,
I really didn't know. I pushed for an hour. We were listening to Kygo the entire time. It was a lot of fun. Actually, my OB, one of the doctors was like, just no country music, please. And I feel like I love country music. And I remember being like, well, she is taking out my baby, so like
let's make her happy.
I'm gonna make her happy, but I think like for a second I was like, so I can't play Shania Twain? Like we're not gonna play Shania Twain. So we didn't. We played Kygo. And then Arlo was born and he came out to Kygo's song Happy Birthday, which was like Hilarious and crazy. But then things took a turn and he came out. They put him on my chest. I was like, okay. Like right away I was like, I yes. But like then he started making like these noises like I can't really like, and they were like, oh, he's a grunter. And they kind of like quickly took him away from me, took him to the NICU.
Oh my God.
I feel like, and I just gave birth and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. Adam was like, I gotta go. I gotta see what's happening.
Oh my God.
And in my head, like as like fucked up as this is gonna sound, I was like, I'm starving. I was like, and now thinking about it, I was like, that's horrible. Like they just like
took my baby away.
But like you can't eat as soon as you get all
you don't eat for like a day and a half.
I just needed food and Adam's like, I'm not getting you food right now. Like we're
rushing
going to see the baby. I was like, I need fucking food. So I remember like going on my phone and like I ordered myself a smoothie and then I basically laid there, no baby, nothing. And like you see it in the movies and you see whatever people tell you, like, yeah, they put the baby on you.
Yeah, like I had more of that.
And
scenario.
I didn't have it. And I basically had to like put myself together and then go up to the NICU. And like that was the first time.
Watch your baby through like
and he was in this machine and we're very fortunate. It was 5 days, but I went home without a baby.
That's
and
fucked.
you just don't think that can happen to you until it happens to you, where I went home without a baby. Like you have this belly still, you have this mush, but no baby. But all is well. He is good. And
like this is where like as much as the medical system sucks in some ways, like
right,
we are
it was
lucky
good that they realized right away that he needed some help. He was early.
Right. It was like a month early.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
like
35 weeks. It was early, but he's good now. All is well. God. But labor is crazy.
It's crazy,
and I still wanted to do it again. Right, I did it again.
I know, but how was that?
How was AC?
Yeah.
Okay, so AC was amazing. We had so much fun. I remember, so I have high blood pressure.
Okay.
So they have to monitor me when I go in to give birth. So I have an induction date. I feel like that also keeps me at ease where I'm like, I know the time, I know when I'm going, especially as a second, like you know what to expect. And we went in. So they called me December 30th and they're like, do you want to come in tomorrow? It's December 31st. I was like, no, my husband will kill me
first.
Like we already waited this long. Like he's going to kill me. And the nurse started to laugh. She was like, I totally get it. Like we'll see you January 1st. So December 31st, we talked about it. We had sex. We were ready to go. I started feeling contractions and I never really I felt the contractions with the balloon with Arlo, but it wasn't real contractions
light.
And then I got the epidural right away. So it was game over. So I didn't really know, but I walked into that hospital January 1st, and I was 5.5 centimeters dilated. And in my head, I'm like,
that's a lot.
That you're halfway through.
That's a lot.
They were like, you're like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. But like, let's get an epidural. Cause I was like, I'm not like doing this without an epidural. And it hurt the second time. I wanted to talk about that. The first time it wasn't painful. The second time the epidural hurt. And I like knew something felt really off. And I feel like I don't really like a lot of people haven't told me their epidural stories. I don't know what about you, but it didn't feel good. Something fell off. And I looked at Adam and I was like, I'm going down. Like I'm going down. And I fainted.
Oh my God.
So they put the epidural in me and I fainted. And I remember waking up being like, is the baby okay? And the baby was fine. Everything was fine.
And what was it?
I don't know. I feel like they like put it in a wrong spot. I don't really do well with pain or they shot up too much inside, but I went down in 2 seconds. But a lot of people don't tell you about it. And I heard after that, there are so many women that have fainted from the epidural. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
But once I woke up, they broke my water and Ace was out. Like
no, I've heard the second one comes flying.
He just flew out. I pulled him out. We were having a party to Saturday night dance. Adam put on some like depressing music. I was like, there's 2 female doctors and 2 female nurses and your wife. What like
What is
Let's
this?
go. Let's pump it up.
You got a DJ.
I got a DJ. They put him on me, and I'm so fortunate that everything was okay. We cuddled, and then I just wanted McDonald's. And
oh my God, you and your food.
everything was amazing, and we went up. I never experienced like the aftercare.
Oh, right. Right, because you had the
I went
NICU.
home, so I never really stayed there. We got lucky. We had a private room.
Yeah, you got to ask for the private room, except don't stay there for 2 nights.
No, and
they charge you.
Ask as soon as you walk in because it's first come, first serve. You can't book it. But love labor. Love. Guys, I know everyone's is different and like it could be.
But I think it's important to like hear a positive spin on it because everyone's always like, it's so doom and gloom and like it's so painful and it's so this and that. And like you can make it fun. Like you can. Like it should be fun. Like you're bringing your baby into the world. Like the fact that people are like, it's so scary and it's so daunting. Like, yes, it is scary and daunting because you've never done it before. And like, sure, there's like medical issues that can happen 100%. And there's like a million different combinations and permutations. But like at the end of the day, like you should play your music. You know what? If you're in fucking pain, get an epidural and enjoy yourself. And like that's what I did. Like,
and
you know what? And like it's not worth it to like make it this miserable experience. Now, if you have medical issues,
that's another ball game
and like not something like, you know, we're here to tell you about because we're not doctors. No. But like I just it's crazy that like everyone thinks it's scary and it's not. It's fun.
It's fun. I loved it.
And like if you know a few different like tips and tricks, like it can make a difference. Like for me, breathing technique was huge. The pushing positions is also really huge.
Yeah, they
like,
never taught me.
So part of why I think I labored so fast was because I didn't get the epidural, right? Like I went 0 to 10 walking. I was walking up and down the fucking halls of
you
triage.
Let your baby and body do it.
Yeah,
do
like
its thing.
gravity was working for me. And then once I got my epidural, I was like on my side. So like I had to push for 2 hours, which is not.
That's a lot. That's
you should not be doing that. Like they should have let me wait longer.
Right.
But then the pushing position. So like literally all they want you to do is push on your back like this.
Because it's easy for them.
It's easy and they catch the baby. Yeah. But like my doula and like other things I did said like you can change your pushing position. Like you can push on your side. You can get like a bar. Like they can basically put your butt to the edge of the thing and you can like hold a bar.
Like, that makes so much more sense. So it's more
like, you know, like the squatty potty position. So you can like do that. Like you have other options. Like obviously you can't go on all fours because like they can't like flip you around once you have the epidural.
Right, because you're kind of frozen.
But if you didn't have the epidural, you could do that. And then like ideally like I really recommend like any water, anything you have, like if you have a bath or like a shower, like
does it like calm you down?
Yeah, and like the shower goes on like your tailbone. It feels so good. Like, but like, you know,
but no one tells you.
No.
That's basically where you're getting at. Like your doula
she was good. She told me a lot, but no one at the labor did. And then the pushing technique, like the breathing techniques through pushing is a whole fucking ordeal. Like, they're like literally telling you like bear down and push. And I'm like, that's like not good because it makes you like, I had like blood vessels popping in my face. I'm like, this is not good. Like one of our friends, she just gave birth and she went to like a chiro and they told her how to breathe. And it was very like soothing and natural. And then she's like, I go to the hospital and they're like this kind of thing. And she's like, this is the opposite. And she tore so badly. Like, I just don't get why they haven't caught up to the like, or more natural, not natural, but just like normal, like breathe.
Yeah, like, why take a second and breathe. I don't know. All I heard was you're pushing out of your ass. I was like, excuse me? Did you know you were supposed to push from your ass?
They're like, I was like, how do you push? Like, we'll teach you. And I'm like, like, what? No.
Like, but did you know that?
No, and then you're frozen. How are you frozen, supposed to even
but
know?
That's why then they tell you got to push from your ass. And I was like, but the baby's coming out from not the vagina part, like not the ass. And oh my God, no one told us that.
No.
And it's painful.
Yeah.
And that's like, I feel like if you rip, like I did with Arlo, and with Ace I didn't, which was like a whole other world.
I'm surprised actually because
I really think it was the OB the second time around. And she was kind of like, push, stop, push, stop. But it really depends on who's there helping you, what you know, exactly what you're saying, the breathing techniques, obviously your own body.
And also like my OB put like warm compresses on me, and the doula was like, I've actually not seen this technique a lot. And it's very smart because it's like slowly loosening your skin. So it's not like harsh. And it made a difference. I didn't have that bad of a tear.
There you go. I really and I have a feeling, fingers crossed, this time you're going to be good with your breathing techniques. And like, I'm so excited to hear about it. No, you should practice. Let's hear 2 breathing techniques.
Honestly though, like I need to go back to and like redo some courses or something.
You should.
Because like you actually forget. It's been 2.5 years.
100%.
I know. Those are like some stories, but I feel like lately we have a lot of friends that are pregnant and they've been asking us some questions.
Right. Should we go through some questions?
We should go through some questions. Okay.
What does a contraction feel like? You actually know that more than me, truthfully.
It feels like a really bad period cramp, honestly.
Like on steroids.
Yeah. And it gets worse.
Right.
Like the more you get further along, the worse it gets, and you just get no break at the end.
Right.
But this is where I think that it would be nice if they kind of like checked you more because you could know how far along you were.
Right.
Like if I knew I was 9 centimeters,
it would kind of get you going.
I can do this.
Right.
But if you're like 4 centimeters and you're dying, you're like, fuck this. I'm not gonna stay with this for like 10 more hours. Like you don't know.
No.
Okay, another one that people have asked. Are you gonna poop?
Oh, you're gonna poop, babe. You are gonna poop. And they're not gonna tell you unless you ask them.
You just know because they're like changing what they're telling
you. You will never know. Your significant other, partner, whatever, will not see it unless they're right there. Like some may see it, I guess. Like if they're right there watching. Like Adam was like
head.
Adam was like behind me, being like, "You're doing great, babe. You're doing great, babe." But you will poo, yes, because you are pushing from your ass. And no one told me that. And I'm going to keep saying it. I think it's the most bizarre thing ever, but it makes sense because you're frozen and the only thing you can really like feel is like that. And then the hemorrhoids come and it's awful. But yes, you probably will poo. That is the answer to that question that we've got.
Actually, who was it? Somebody gave birth and then she saw all this poo everywhere and she was like, oh my God. Turns out it was the baby.
Oh my God.
But like, can you imagine seeing that? Okay, we kind of already touched on this, but another question was, what's the best time to ask for an epidural?
When you find out you're pregnant. When you find out you're pregnant, you ask for the epidural. Epidural now.
This is the name of the game when it comes to timing. Like you got to get that epidural between 5 and 7 centimeters.
Yeah.
Because if you get it too early,
it will take longer, which it did 100%.
And if you get it too late, I got it at 10 and it still was
good. Which is crazy because I feel like we've heard that sometimes you can't get it at 10 centimeters. My baby just
Ziggy hadn't dropped, so I guess it helped like all the contractions like push him down.
Right.
So it was worth it in the end. But yeah, you should you want it in that so you missed that. Like 7 to 10 was brutal. Okay. Like I couldn't speak English.
Wow.
I literally
couldn't. What language were you speaking? Okay.
There's like a video of like Josh literally just like holding me, like being like, breathe. And I'm like, shh, stop. Like I couldn't.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so clearly this is our favorite topic. We could talk about this for hours. So I think we table it and we come back for a part 2.
Perfect. Okay. Let's do it.
Okay, guys. So stay tuned. We're going to see you next week for labor and delivery part 2.
Amazing.
And maybe we'll talk about like hospital bag stuff, staying at the hospital, that kind of.
We'll bring in my lists.
The lists. We got to talk about the lists.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
See you guys next week.
All right. Bye.